So we're finally on our way to get extracted, and this level has more water combat than anywhere else in the game so far. That doesn't mean it's all water combat, or even mostly water combat, but there is a significant amount. After our last incident with the engineers, I'm taking a strike-first policy here. They had their chances. We want to be really careful before we jump behind the cover here because there are explosive barrels right next to it, and those can easily be shot. I've died that way a couple times at least. The only thing special about this particular encounter is that a drone comes out later, and we can't hit it with the stun gun because it moves around way too much for that. Also, it's pretty far away. We can kill it easily enough with our submachine gun, it's just more fun to do it with the stun gun when we can. We're gonna head over to a somewhat optional area on the left here, after we deal with these guys. There's nothing special down there, just more ammo. So Velasco made a good point last time about the research facility being really close to the Gondwana border. What are they doing over here? Are they cooperating with Gondwana in some way? Because it is implied that Gondwana absolutely hates IHS. Maybe they're offering Gondwana something in exchange. Or threatening them, that's always a possibility. Now up here we have a new kind of enemy for once. These walker drones are slow and stupid, but they slowly move towards your cover. Unlike the human enemies which tend to stay back. They can take quite a few hits from our submachine gun, but like most mechanical things, 3 hits from our stun gun will kill him dead. I guess it adds a little bit of variety, but they're not even difficult to deal with because they just stand out in the open and get shot at without ever reacting to you. Even though there's cover right here, the guy in the turret can still get us while we're sitting here. So we want to take him out quickly instead of just wait. Not that you planned on waiting. This guy with the shotgun always gets me by surprise, no matter how many times I remind myself he's there.
I'm on it, Colonel.
Now we can proceed forward after I get turned around for a second. Right outside, you might have guessed that we have to use that turret we passed earlier. The enemies are spread out just like last time, but this time their stun guns blind us if we zoom in and fire. Again, not sure if that's intentional, but I'm going to assume it is.
Firing on the enemy.
So I've been trying as best I can to ignore the game's frame rate issues, but after we get out of this turret and jump down there to take cover, you're going to notice, no matter what I do. Goodbye, frame rate. This makes the game significantly more difficult to play. Who would have guessed? It clears up a bit after we move back up the steps, but it's still really annoying. I don't even kill this guy because the frame rate makes it too hard to aim. He blows himself up. That was real smart of him. Up here there are more walkers, and we have plenty of stun gun ammo still, so they're not a problem. It is kind of satisfying to have a weapon that works well against specific types of enemies, but when the enemies are stupid it counterbalances the satisfaction and it really just comes out as meh. The only reason we're coming down here is because we want more stun gun ammo, and that guy that blew himself up was using a stun gun. Now as for right here where I get stuck in the wall, I was just being stupid and I turned too early. Many times it's just not worth it to try and shoot the mines, and I just run into them anyway. It can totally be done if you know where all of them are, but I didn't memorize their locations, and it's just not worth it.
Use the harpoon to reach that panel.
Got some serious eruption. Affirmative.
So here's a mechanic that's actually kinda cool. We can take control of specific drones by latching onto them with our harpoon. And then they'll shoot enemies for us. The drones that work for us seem to be more durable than the enemy drones, maybe because we can only take control of one at a time. It is a lot easier to kill the drones with the stun gun, but we're trying to conserve our stun gun ammo for when we really need it. Also for when I just feel like showing it off, that too. The bursts of magma down here can both deal damage to us and push us back, so we kinda have to weave through and wedge ourselves into a safe spot. Using the jetpack, of course. I'm really not sure what the point is to these mines. They don't even do anything, even on normal and hard mode. As long as you get hit by them one or two at a time, you're fine. I mean, I guess if you were just trying to jetpack boost through this whole section, you would probably die. But you should know by this point in the game not to do that anywhere. I swear we're almost out of this place, and then we'll be in a completely different but equally repetitive location. To be perfectly fair though, this first location we've been in for these 3 videos is the most boring one. Not a great way to start your game. I might be more harsh here than the rest of the game because I had to play through this level so many times and I had to watch myself play through it. I made the mistake of not looking around for enemies to pull down underwater here, so I left too many of them alive and I almost died. That's probably the most exciting thing that's going to happen. I guess it's not a bad piece of design that they expect you to pick them off from underwater before you jump up here. But I didn't. Sometimes the enemies with stun guns have this weird glitch where their shots don't hurt at all. Obviously that wasn't the case here. I don't know if you've seen it yet. I don't know if we will see it. Honestly, this game feels like a really weird dream. And I'm deeply afraid that I'm gonna wake up and it's not gonna be real. Not this game, just this entire reality. Because I would never let's play a game like this in real life. Who would do something like that? Here's a section that's not too bad and actually makes good use of the jetpack for something mildly challenging, as opposed to what we've used it for so far. Not this scanner. The scanners do nothing.
Proceed. Move carefully.
So now we have to contend with whole gauntlets of eruptions, and we have to squeeze through just the right spots, where we risk being pushed all the way back to the doorway. There's almost always a small safe area between all of the geysers. It's just about finding that. These geysers up here are a lot more intimidating graphically, but they require much less precise timing. It is good that they found some use for the underwater jetpack in the game design, even if it's this minimal. I feel like games like this come about because the developers don't understand how harsh the gaming climate is. I genuinely believe BioArt thought they made a good game. I'm not saying our standards are too harsh, our standards are fine. I'm just saying they thought our standards were less harsh than they are. These fences do not offer protection from bullets, which is good because they could have just said screw it and made it solid. But they didn't. It's only kind of solid. Time to look at the stun gun's extra feature. Hold on. Boom! We can fire chain lightning that blows up multiple enemies at once in one shot. Hell yes. That is the stun gun's alternate fire, and every gun has an alternate fire, but the stun gun's is the one I find the most useful. The others are very minor differences. The stun gun's chain lightning really sucks up its ammo, though, so try to use it sparingly. This is our last above-water hoorah before we leave, and we get a rocket launcher, which we haven't seen yet. Now, while we have the rocket launcher, we can't duck, dodge, or run. But it kills the walker machines in one hit, so we don't really need to do any of those things. I guess this whole section is just for funsies, because it's not difficult in any way, shape, or form. There are a lot of third-person shooters that give you brief control of an extra powerful weapon for one segment, but they usually find a way to make them challenging. That's just not the case here. That being said, we don't only get this weapon for one segment. Also, as soon as we switch weapons, we drop it. We don't put it away, we just drop it where we stand. You can't really carry the rocket launcher into cover-based battle. That will not go over well. No matter how quickly you shoot everything, it'll kill you first. The chain lightning also chains into human enemies, and it kills them pretty quickly too. I have nothing but praise for the stun gun's alternate fire. It's just really satisfying, and the fact that it takes up so much ammo means you have to use it conservatively. It's a good piece of design. You could use it to bust through one hard encounter you were going through, but then you wouldn't have it for the next one. Unless you found an ammo box, but the ammo boxes start to get scarce. Especially in this level. Because they knew you'd want to use the stun gun all the time. I actually don't have any issues with anything that happens past this point. It's pretty decent. So the walkers are also underwater, but they take twice as many hits. Which means it takes 2 shots of our alternate fire from our stun gun just to kill one of them. And if we didn't take my advice and leave the shotgun behind, we would be pretty screwed. Because the shotgun is useless underwater, and the submachine gun is one of the only other guns that functions completely normally. The walkers are actually way more of a threat underwater because their shots are far more accurate. You don't have to do a lot to dodge them though, just lock on and kind of wiggle left and right. As long as they don't shoot you twice in a row, you should be in fine shape. But yeah, these encounters aren't all that bad because they enable you to do something slightly different, however minimal it is. Up here's another rocket launcher, and for some reason the rocket launcher gains the ability to home in on enemies underwater. I don't know why, but it does. Water apparently has weird magical properties that change the basic functions of firearms. Not that I'm complaining in this instance. I would say that the walkers taking 2 shots from a rocket launcher is a bit excessive, but you're not really swamped with enemies like you are on land, so it's not as big a deal. We need to drop the rocket launcher here because there's a ton of mines, and it's useless against those. For some reason it either completely misses, or both blows up the mine and us at the same time. Neither of which are good outcomes. So in here is the pseudo-boss fight of the first act. We want to fight in the first drone and immediately capture it,
The ghoul can be reprogrammed.
so we have a meat shield against all the
I
others.
need all the help I can get.
Now, we need to come here to get ammo real quick, because we're dangerously low. But what we would do is we would attack the drones as soon as they come out of their holes, so they don't really have a chance to react. We couldn't do that with this guy because we were too busy getting ammo. But the camera conveniently instantly jerks toward all the others, so we can shoot them as soon as they appear, and they should die shortly after they start to react. You might have noticed there was also a rocket launcher over there where we got ammo, and you might be wondering why we didn't pick that up, and that's because it's not very useful here. The ghouls are too good at dodging. And we are almost to freedom, almost to new environments. I bet you're excited. So the last hazard before we escape is kind of wimpy. It's just a bunch of mines hiding out in little alcoves. Now, of course, when I first played this, they got me because I was only focused on getting the hell out of here. It just occurred to me that it would be very terrible if this game were to have collectibles. It does not, don't worry. Unless you count the data discs, but you need to get those. Oddly enough, you get a trophy for collecting a certain amount. And we're finally free!
Lieutenant, an update on the sub.
Go ahead, Velasco.
The sub hit a projection of rock along the coast. The hull's torn, and the Dagon is grounded.
Is the hull breach large enough to swim through?
It is. Move in and extract with the data.
Copy that. Wait. What the frag is that? Damn it. Giant crab. Big one.
LT,
Oh, crap. There's a huge freaking robot crab out there. Nearly killed me.
are you inside the submarine?
Affirmative. Can't get inside.
Acknowledged. Complete your mission.